ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you're excited for the next panel session, Women in Business, powered by Sogebel. I'm so excited to welcome these powerful women in business, women of Haiti, women of the world, that's going to kick off this conversation. This is a much needed conversation. This is probably going to be the best panel of IT Tech Summit 2020. Yes, I said it. Women run this world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to engage these ladies. Vraiment content. Ou énergie sortie sous sa vraiment from the IT Summit of business. So, we're going to kick off the 30-second countdown, and then we'll welcome Prestige Jack to welcome this powerhouse panel of wonderful women. Let's get ready. All right, ladies, without further ado, again, this panel is powered by our gold sponsor, Sogebel. Such an honor and a privilege to work with this financial institution. And without further ado, please welcome Prestige Jack to kick off the Women in Business at IT Tech Summit. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Christine. I'm very happy to be moderating this panel with amazing ladies, Fabienne, Midy, Béatrice, Kébreau, and Winnie, Hugot, Gabrielle. Welcome, ladies. We're going to have a great conversation today. I look forward to it. So before we begin, I'm going to say a few words about each of you. I have my notes here. We'll start with Béatrice. Béatrice is currently the head of marketing, commercial, and acquiring department at Sogecarte. She's the interlocutor of the Sogebel group with Visa and MasterCard. She's a proud mom and stepmom of 3 wonderful girls, wife, business owner, leadership learner. She's a member of the world-renowned Project Management Institute, PMI. Congratulations, Bea. I know you worked hard on that one. And she's also very well known for her creative skills. She's an artist, a dancer, and a singer. Welcome, Beatrice.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here and to share this panel with such awesome women and to talk about a subject that really holds me to heart. So it's a pleasure and an honor, and I look forward to this time that we're going to be sharing together.
Who's also from the group Sogebel. She was born and raised in Haiti, holds a Bachelor of Science in Finance from the University of South Florida. Right after college, she entered the banking industry, where she spent several years abroad working in the States, in New York and Florida, going in a very successful career, going from being a personal banker to a business banking relationship vice president. She decided to move back to Haiti with her 5-year-old daughter, and I know in this conversation she's going to tell us more about this choice. She spent 5 years as a branch regional manager and recently joined Sogebel as a credit and relationship manager 15 months ago, where she's embracing the opportunity to be part of the top management of Sogebel. I have to say very good things about Sogebel empowering women in this. A lot of women leaders at Sogebel. And so she's working with a very dynamic woman. We have Winnie, Hugot, Gabrielle, who I'm a personal fan of Winnie. She's a lawyer, journalist, and published author. Fulbright student from Haiti. I know we probably have a lot of Fulbright students watching, so I like to share the Fulbright success stories. She studied intellectual property and cybersecurity law at Maryland Carey Law. And she has very personal objectives to promote three pillars to help people to serve her country and to contribute to its development. Winnie is very concerned about the Haitian law surrounding new technologies being behind the times. So she's putting a lot of effort to try and modernize things. She wants to be a role model for women. And so, in addition to reforming Haiti's intellectual property system, Winnie is driven by her desire to confront women's issues in Haiti. As a lawyer, journalist, and author, she hopes to do that by promoting women's rights, being a role model to inspire women and girls, and help them unlock their full potential. She has a column that appears on the Nouvelliste, and she's published a book about Haitian women called Haitian Women 60 Exceptional Profile. She's also an award winner of Dauphin News and Impactful Young Women by Ticket Magazine in 2018. Welcome, Winnie, and welcome, Fabienne. I'm going to let you ladies say a couple of words before we get started. I don't know if you want to say a few words. I think you are still on mute. Yes.
Let me start by saying that I'm super excited. I'm so happy to be part of that panel. Women Rock. Yes. So I'm very honored, excited, and very happy to be here. I think I've been following Haiti Tech Summit, and I think it's such a great movement to promote Haiti. And now with Haitian women talking about how we feel about women in businesses. So it's a great opportunity for me, and I'm super excited and happy to be part of that panel.
My turn. Thank you, Christine. This is a very great introduction, and you inspired a lot of people, especially me. I like your drive, the day.
I don't know.
Sharing this panel with Béatrice and Fabienne. I think this conversation around women in business is much needed, and it's going to be something amazing.
Thank you. Well, I got so excited to introduce you three ladies that I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Christine Coupet-Jacques from Dagmar. I'm a communication specialist, a few years of experience in communication and marketing in Haiti. I do a lot of things. They call me Madame Jacques. And I'm really excited and grateful for the opportunity to take part in Haiti Tech Summit. I've been following for the full 2 days. I was on site at Elgon Show yesterday. It's been 4th edition, virtual, but one of the most amazing editions so far. So in this panel, we're going to talk about women in business, and we're going to talk about leadership roles that women are taking on, because I have 4 great leaders from different diverse backgrounds, but we have a lot of things in common, ladies. We're all leading. We're all in leadership positions. So we'll speak about the business environment, discuss the views on women, the workplace, gender norms, women in tech, everything that we want to talk about, the legal framework for Winnie, that's her thing. And we'll just have a great conversation. So I'm going to start by asking a personal woman question. How do you ladies manage? How do you balance your lives? I know some of you have kids. Winnie and I don't. Winnie, no kids, right?
No kids.
The 2 ladies who have kids and stepkids, how do you do it?
How do we do it? We just do. That's the bottom line. Actually, I think it's a mindset. Being a woman, even the term itself puts a lot of pressure on us simply because the term itself comes with a lot of responsibilities. And the fact that there was a lot of stereotypes put into women in the past makes it that we still carry on that burden with us today, although I don't take that mom role as being a burden itself, because it just comes with the territory. But based on the stereotypes as well as the actual responsibilities that do come with it, it's basically just do. And it's a mindset. So basically, I can talk for myself, having been brought up in an environment where there wasn't really that much of a difference between the men and the women, because the women actually wore the pants in the family. So basically, it's just a matter of the task at hand, wearing the different hats at different moments. Sometimes, having one right on top of the other at the time. So it gets very hectic at times, but the effort and the effort put into it just makes it all worth it. So but in the midst of it all, it's all a matter of also remembering self in the process, because we're so much taking care of everything from kids to work to husband to house, that the time for self is also as important, if not more important than everything else. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anything else.
And then I think it's also about reaching out to one another and supporting one another.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, I just received a lunch care package from my sister because she called and said, you're always taking care of everyone. So I'm going to send you a special lunch with love that she specially cooked for me. So I think it's about supporting one another. So we're going to jump right into some questions. So we're living in a society and we're all working in a society where men hold the majority of leadership positions. Do you think it matters, and why? Fabienne?
Yeah, sure. I do think it matters, and it really shows us that there's a disproportionate. The population is made of men and women. It's not like you only have men, so it doesn't. And we don't have more men than women on Earth. So it shows us that really we still have a lot of work to do, because the fact that most leaders in the world are men, it's even though we progress a lot, we're doing much better in terms of being more assertive, showing up, but we are well educated, we are driven, we have a lot of knowledge, so there's no reason why we still see that big disparity between men and women. So there's still a lot of work that we have to do. We were talking about how do we do it, being women and being mothers and being people still have that perception, oh, women are still only nurturers. No, we can be leaders. And it matters, and it shows us that we have a lot of work to continue to do in order for that stereotypes to go away, because that's not right. It's not right.
You want to say something, Winnie?
Yes, I was about to add that beside that, Fabian said, I think it's a balance that we have to correct, because it's not okay that the world is still won by men, while 50% of the world is women. And also, there's a big issue about representation. If you grew up watching TV and there's no woman presenting news or moderating a debate, most likely you might think that this is not a proper role for women. So there is an issue of representation for our girls, to have a more balanced society. We have to address that issue. But I'm taking this issue from the gender discrimination or gender inequality to also a diversity or inclusion problem, because we have it's not only a feel good move, it's also good for business, because it's proven that when you have more diverse team, like where they have an where we have an equal, if not more, women than men, black people, white people, Asian people, everybody from different background, different culture, it the team tends to be more successful. And if we want to empower this new generation and change the world, we have to understand that it's not okay that women are underrepresented. It's not okay that black people are not represented well, and we have to do our best to take some affirmative action to address that problem.
I think that's a very good comment, and that allows me to congratulate a gold sponsor of Haiti Tech Summit. Uh, our panel today, this women's panel today, is powered by Sogebel. We have to congratulate Sogebel because as a company in Haiti, they have reached 40% women in the group, and they have 3 women that are general manager and 4 women in the conseil d'administration. So I think that's very rare, and that says a lot about the company culture and how modern they are and how important it is for them to have and to provide their employees with such a diverse and well balanced environment in a country where women are 52% of the population. So we need a big shout out for Sogebel.
Yeah.
Congratulate them and congratulate these ladies that are part of the top management of Sogebel, because I think that's a very big accomplishment. Now we're going to get a little bit more personal. Have you ladies ever been in a situation where you were treated, professional situation, where you were treated unfairly because you're a woman? Can anyone share a story?
Okay, I'll start by sharing. When I moved to the US from Haiti, when after I graduated and I worked in Haiti and I had an experience as a credit officer, business banker, and all those things, and I moved to the US and I was looking for a job. And this guy interviewed me, and he was like, there was a business banking position, and there were also personal banking and cashier's position at that bank. And I was like, okay, I want to go for the business banking position. He was like, he laughed at me like, who are you? Who do you think you are? It's like, are you crazy? He was like, no, I understand. Yes, you have the knowledge, you have everything that you're saying, but no, there's this personal banking position. You'll be great at it, whatever. And since I needed a job and I was looking for a job, I was like, okay. And I love challenges. I have to say, when you give me challenge, that motivates me. So I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I took the position as a personal banker. And he told me that, it's very male dominated. He told me. And I was so shocked because I was like, I'm in the US. How can a guy tell me that? He didn't tell me it's because of you're a woman, but you're telling me it's male dominated, it's to get business. Remember, you work on your performance is based on your numbers. Your performance will be numbers driven. So where are you going to get those businesses? So I was like, okay. So within a year, I really worked like crazy. I had my strategy. I was like, I'm not going to be a personal banker for years. No, within a year, I was out there. I was networking. I had my plan. I knew what I wanted to do. I went after business clients. My portfolio was like top. I think I was the top personal banker, but with a business banking portfolio. So after a year, I got promoted.
Oh,
So yeah, I've it's I've lived that. Then yeah.
Winnie, in the legal environment of Haiti, tell us about being a woman in that environment.
Oh, I mean, this is so strange because like I was in Paris. There's like way more women that are lawyers than men. In Haiti, like I think only one third of the lawyers might be women, and even with the judicial system, you might find like less than 10% of women as a judge. So like if you have 1,000 judges, I think that's what we have. You will find at least okay for the most part like 100 women judges. So sometimes when you get into the court, you feel and sometimes this happened to me. I was with a client, he's a man, and I was wearing my suit, very professional like always. And the guy in Haiti, everybody for those who are not Asian, and Haiti we call lawyers mix, and they tend to call the man as mix, but not the woman. And I was going to the court, and then the guy was like, Madam, I was like, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Literally addressed the man as the lawyer, and I'm the client. Why? I'm the lawyer, and the man is my client. And I haven't gotten this case, but I know it exists. One of my friends told me that once they did not give her a case because she's a woman. Sometimes clients tend to overvalue the work of a man, and if they have a case, maybe it's going to litigation, they would have preferred to have a man because the man maybe is tougher or might speak louder than a woman, but it's not true. Like, and this is some stereotypes and bias that we still have to address in the legal profession. And because we don't have that many or as much lawyers that are women and than men, it's a serious issue, I think. Like, there is a lot of gender stereotype and gender discrimination in the legal field, and specifically in Haiti.
I am sure. I have no doubt. That's insane, in my opinion. So we have a lot of young people listening to us, the target of Haiti Tech Summit, all the young females that are looking at us. I want to know from either of you ladies, what potential personal or professional barriers do you think might be impacting women from reaching the highest levels of leadership in the business field now? What do you think is stopping women from getting there?
I think that just the mere fact of being a woman, as a matter of fact, because we've come a long way. Let's put it this way as well, because as you said, this particular group that Fabienne and I represent, Sogebel, there are women in high positions. So therefore, things have changed and are starting to change. So the barriers that we have to face right now is only the fact that we are, it's basically the gender difference. It's no longer about the competence or the skills, because we as women have proven that we can do better, if not as much or as more than men, even except for the physical part of some of the activities. As far as the mind and the mental is concerned, I think there's an equal balance into it. And even in the workplace today, I can say that women have actually proven their places and some of the positions that men have held in the past. If we are looking at it right now, we have in the United States, we have the very first woman running for the position of VP. That says a lot. We have had women, even if it was temporarily, we have had women in presidential power in Haiti itself. So besides being a woman, and I think that at this particular point in time, it's just a matter of time before that changes, because it's basically the mindset and it's the culture change that makes it so that we're still fighting against it, that people who still want to go into what the current used to be instead of going against the current because things are changing, it's bound to change. So for those of them, the young people listening to us today, just be patient. It's just a question of timing. Things are changing, and things are going to continue to change. Not so much so that that things just go out of whack, but basically so that things can be balanced.
I think we need to take this a step further, Beatrice, because when we're talking about Haitian women, we want to put, they're the potomitan, they're the most proactive element in our society. But then when we get into a leadership position, they call us bossy. I've been called bossy so many times. I am boss lady. So I just called myself boss lady. But when a man is in a leadership position, they don't call him bossy. They think it's completely normal for a man to be. So guess what? I'm boss lady. So I think we need to tell those young women not just to be patient, to be proactive about it.
Yes.
Like, we are the boss. And
yes, we are.
I always remind, I'm like, who the boss is around here? Boss lady. Me boss lady, yeah. So I think it's very important for women to be able to assume their leadership position. And I think that very often at times, young women are afraid to share their aspiration to become a leader or to assume leadership functions or management positions. So I think that it's very important for women to become comfortable to be very proactive about assessing that. So
I totally agree with that. If I can just add something, I'm inspired to say that based on what you just said, out of the saying that says that behind every successful man, there is a woman. Now, right now, I think that to every young person, instead of being behind that man, just show your face and show how successful you can be. So that's what I'm inspired to say right now.
Absolutely. Anybody can just jump in if you'd like, but I'd like you to share your personal stories as well, all of you in leadership positions, of how you prepared yourselves for those leadership positions and what are the stepping stones that you did to get into those leadership positions. Winnie, Fabienne.
Okay, for me, as you said, Christian, we have to empower ourselves, no doubt. We have to fight for our rights. But for me, when people see me, I'm someone who's calm. I'm someone who looks mellow. So people sometimes think because I look so mellow that I'm not as competitive. And that's where I get people all the time. Yes, you have to be assertive. Since I was a child, I'm the only girl and I have two brothers. Okay, my parents have always been, oh my God, this girl, when she has something in mind, forget it. But I've always been someone who looks mellow and quiet, but you cannot walk all over me. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. So I think sometimes also we have a tendency of, as you were saying, Christine, people think when a woman is assertive, she knows what she wants, or she must be so mean, she must be with her heart, she must be. No. As women, for me, I'm strong, but I don't have a problem showing my authentic self, which is I'm sensitive too. That sensitivity makes us great leaders. For me, Leadership is all about serving. It's all about giving back. It's not about just taking, you take so that you empower other people. That's what leadership is for me. So my experience has been we have to fight. We really have to fight, but we have to stay ourselves. It's not if you someone who's quiet and mellow, you don't have to all of a sudden show that you're all crazy. And that's not you. You have to be your authentic self in order for you to be in great leadership, in order for you to achieve success in whatever you are doing.
I think Winnie wanted to add something.
However, I think my strategy is like, at first, I think you have to be ready. Get ready, be ready. I'm talking about you going for a position. Be sure that you have the qualities or you are competent for this position that you're looking for, and you assume that you are confident and bold, even bold. When I enter a room, I know that if they want one person for this position, it's gonna be me. And you have to tell that to yourself every day too, because it's also a very mental thing, if I can say that. That's the strategy. So Fabienne was saying that she she networked and she was able to build a portfolio with book or business, if I can say that. So you have to get the strategy and be original. You don't have to be like anybody else. I don't think people want to have like 10,000 Christine Coupe. They want Christine Coupe and also somebody else. So be that somebody else that the company needs. And you have to be able to have some people that inspire you. Even in your like in your feed on Instagram, follow people that you aim to be, and have a net support system. Somebody that will tell you, okay, you know what? I don't think that you're doing something good. You have to somebody that is open and can tell you the truth, because sometimes we when we go into the talk, we might lose track of some value that we have, and we need somebody that can compliment us or congratulate us when we're doing something good, but also somebody that when you say, okay, this is what you're doing is something, no, don't do that. You have to be able to rely on that person advice too. And I think you need to evaluate yourself every time. If you are, what was the goal that you had, and did you achieve them? What can you do to go further? And don't be afraid to take what goes. Sometimes women we are tend to be to suffer from what we call the imposter syndrome. We want something, but we don't want to say it because we don't want to appear too bold, because people are uncomfortable with women that are powerful. So I mean, if someone, your network needs to know your value, and they don't have to feel uncomfortable because you're smart, you're successful, and you aim to be powerful. I think if you have to that's what I did, and I think it worked. It might work for you too.
And I think that you're absolutely right. People have to assume their ambition, and they have to dare to admit their ambitions. And that does not make you vulnerable. That should not make any woman vulnerable to admit their ambition and want to get to the top and want to get to be, the big leader, or want to get into a leadership position, start their own business. Um, we have to help, and we have to help other women do that. I have a question about that. But as managers in your leadership roles, your individual leadership roles, as the business women that you are, how do you differentiate when you're somebody's boss? Like, I've seen a lot of women build women only teams, or mostly women teams. So you have a woman manager, and then all of their direct reports would be women. Or do you think that your leadership style allows you to be gender neutral when you're picking employees?
Um, I think like the same way I don't support only male team. I don't really say, uh, I mean only women team. I mean if we are only women in the team, it's okay, but I will not. It will not be my choice because I believe in inclusion. I believe in diversity, and I believe that people from different backgrounds, from different culture, can bring a lot to the conversation. And I think you need to know your style of leadership. I think I did the DISC assessment, the ILC, and I think I'm an I person. I don't lead as the same way as a D person, which is pretty much dominant or S person. So in my team, I'm someone that is, I mean, that the I person aims to please. They want to everybody to voice their opinion and to find a middle ground that can satisfy everybody. So I think when you know the kind of player that you are, you know you are more mindful of how you lead and all your leadership style impact others, and you can be more if you can, you know, if you build in your team on your own, you know, okay, maybe I will put Christine in that position. Fabienne will be there because they are different type of personalities, and I think they will be able to do the work or the task that I have assigned to them. So I think this is really important for women as well as men can be autocratic as leadership style, the same way they could be charismatic leaders too. So I think you as a person need to know what kind of leaders you are and how your leadership style affects the team and how you can manage, you know, to be as efficient as you can be.
And I think it's all about the preparedness and all about the women being confident in themselves. And I think that's where one of the things that women around us, the young women who are listening to us today, need to follow some role models and look at, you know, very confident, ambitious women and look at what they've done to get to where they're at today. Listen to their stories, because if we doubt ourselves as women, I'm son fille, yo pa pram, or I'm a woman, they're not gonna accept that from me, or they're not gonna allow me to get there. If we doubt ourselves, we won't get to the places where we dream of being. So it's the first place you want to work is on your own self confidence. I don't know if you ladies agree with that.
Of
Okay.
course, and be mindful not to be toxic because sometimes some people might be like some toxic leaders too, like some women that are in position of power. Sometimes if they don't assess themselves, they could be like as toxic as a man leading. So be mindful of that too.
If I can just add one thing before we move on, if I'm looking at the team that I'm managing right now at Sogecarte, we're about 15 people with 4 women, most of them being men. So I'm managing a majority of men, and the way that I believe, because that's my style, is preach by example. So basically, the fact that you show that you can actually do, and you actually do with them, and not necessarily instead of just saying do this, you actually go and do with them. The fact that I was able to do that has earned me, the respect that I have, as well as the leader, the leader vision, because it's not a manager. I am not so much, and I push for, I'm not a manager, I'm a leader. So therefore, I'm leading a team. So therefore, when when, you know, I'm basically just helping other people move forward. So teaching by example to me is a very, very important way to do it, especially as a woman. And this particular world. So in my own little bubble over here, this is the way that it's working for me. And
It says, get your hands dirty.
yes, that's the bottom line. Get it done.
I hope the young women here who are listening to us and the young men as well understand that it's about your management style, it's about your self-confidence, it's about how involved you get and how you assume your leadership position and how you decide to lead the conversation or how you decide to take on the power positions. So we could say that you could be your own limits. You ladies agree? Okay.
Definitely.
So there's a whole tech ecosystem that's been talking for 2 days on Haiti Tech Summit. And there's a lot of movement in the Haitian tech system. There's a lot of movement in the tech is leading the world. Do you think that women are in a disadvantage for tech roles, for leadership tech roles?
I think for the tech world, for women, it could be harder. The reason why I say that, there's not a lot of role model to follow. My sister-in-law is tech. She's doing very well in the US, and we were talking about that. We had that conversation a lot of time. It's a male-dominated world. Okay, so you have to know your stuff when you're in the tech world. I think you have to really study your craft, know what you're doing. That will give you the confidence in order for you to advance in that world. It's not impossible. We have young women who are studying or in the tech world now who just started. Don't think, oh my God, this is my position, I'm not going to go further. No. You can go further. You will go further if that's what you want. You really have to empower yourself. You have to study, you have to put the effort. It takes a lot, it will take a lot from you, and you have to not be shy. You're talented, you have to be bold. You have to be bold and know what you want and go out there and show what you want. The promotions are going to come, the ideas that you have to, you will be able to implement them, you will be able to get where you want to be, but you have to believe that first. Since there's not a lot of role models, look for women who have been there, who went far, look what they did, and they can be a role model for you to go wherever you inspire to go.
Winnie, did you want to add something or?
Okay, what I'm gonna add is like, I mean, it's true because that I think I've experienced it. Yeah, I remember I went to DC for a conference, a big conference on cybersecurity. It was one day, and I felt at the end of the day, I felt like, oh my God, I want to go home because I think like 90% of the persons that were present were men, even in the panel. Like only men, and the few women that have the chance to present were only white people. And I mean, I felt like the event did not pay attention to be more inclusive, more diverse. But I think this is a problem in the legal field and also in the tech field, like cyber sale, because I went to the cybersecurity event. But I think as a person, sometimes it might be uncomfortable for you to be sitting there when you feel like you're a minority and your voice or your opinion might not matter, but I'm telling you, your opinion matters. If you're in that position, you have to be bold, be confident, as Fabienne said. But I will recommend like look for a mentor. Like if you're going to call for a conference, reach out to people, to the panelists, to the speakers that you think and somebody might answer you. And when you're on this field, one person might want to mentor you and also to sponsor you, because that's why sometimes, of course, the whole we empower ourselves, we confident, but we need somebody to open the door. And if you're there and then if you are in a position of power and you are listening to us, sometimes pay it forward, open the door for somebody else because when you are a minority, it's not easy. You have to. So there's two work that needs to be done. Personal work, be ready, be confident, look for a mentor, but also network to find somebody that might open the door for you too. I think mentorship and sponsorship are really important.
Yeah. I once had an experience where I worked for a company, and I won't tell you what I did. I'll tell you after you guys tell me how you as women would have handled that. I went to my boss and said, I would like to have a promotion. I've been working here so many years and I think that I'm due. And his answer was simple. He said, well, if we promote you, the other guys on the team would probably quit. So they couldn't even consider giving me a promotion because the other guys would quit. How would you ladies handle that?
I would really think that I don't have my place there anymore because if I would tell him like why, like, but I would really know that okay, it's time for me. If that's it, I'm working like crazy, I'm giving my best, I'm giving my all, and you're telling me point blank, how would the other guys will feel? So that means that you know, uh-uh. I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it.
That's exactly what I did. So I said, in evaluating me, I'd like to be the only person considered in my own evaluation. And please do not involve any of my colleagues in my personal work evaluation. And I started looking for a job. And when I found one, I left. And I found a much better paying job too. But so that was it, because for me, there was no point in staying with a company where my gender limited my growth potential. Okay. So they're tough decisions to take in your career, but you have to know when the company that you work for it allows you to grow, or when your growth potential has reached a platform. And
Yeah.
I have one big question that I'd like all three of you to answer, so we can take turn, whoever wants to go first. Um, how can we as women encourage other women to get into business or to take on the leadership roles? And could you share examples of how you personally have encouraged other women around you? Who wants to go first? Beatrice?
Um, as being a business owner myself, I believe that it's a chance that I gave myself, basically, because the upbringing was not so much that of owning a business, but was more of, go to school, get a job type thing. So I think that we need to steer away from that as well, where when you're getting an education, yes, the stepping stone may be to get the experience you need in order to own your own business. But basically, it's developing those those skills that you basically practically did not know you have. If I'm looking at myself, for example, I was self-taught graphic design, basically. And it's something that I did not know I had until I was put in a situation where it was a do or die, get your own business. If not, you would be able to make it type situation at one point in my life. So basically, being in that particular situation, and also being in a very ambitious person myself, and challenging myself pushed me to the limit where I told myself, okay, I can do it. So I put myself in that particular situation where I encourage others to develop their potential. It's not so much what you were taught in school, because where you are right now does not define you type thing. So basically, just do what you have to do, develop those potentials, and whatever talks positively to you inside is probably what is for you to develop, not so much what society is dictating you to do. Basically, yes, you can do that. Il faut avoir plusieurs cordes à son arc. Yes, definitely. But what is yours. And this is how I do with my team. This is how I do with even my clients, as far as my business is concerned. And this is how I develop their trust and that I get their business, because what I do from the heart. I don't necessarily do from the brain. It's just a communication between the head and the brain. And basically, this is what I teach. This is what I like to do. And this is why I got into training as well, being in PMI, because I believe that you need to give what you have received.
Fabienne?
Yes, for me, I think that women, as women, have to help each other. We have to uplift each other. Very often, we are judgmental. We have to be critical if someone is doing something that we think could be better. It's not about approving everything and saying, oh, it's great. When we think that the person, that woman can do much better, we have to be vocal and help them do better. But we have to uplift each other. We have to be there for each other. And me, as a manager, as a leader, it's seeing where there's talent, because we have so much young talented people out there, so many young women who are really talented. Seeing that talent and developing that talent, giving that person self-confidence, giving that person the knowledge, helping them go to seminar, helping them with teaching them, helping with them with developing their skills, so that they build that confidence in order for them to know that there's no limit. It's limitless what we can do as women. We have to do it here, and because once we have it here and everything that's in our heart, our passion, what makes us so successful as human beings. Women, we are successful. I'm sorry. I love men, but I'm sorry. I really feel that we are better than men in that sense, because we have that balance where we can be fierce, crazy, going after what we want, but we do have that sensibility where we know how to help people. So I think that it's we have to uplift each other. We have to be there for each other. We have to be real, authentic, truth, and help each other out. And that leadership that, oh, there are more men who are leaders in the world, it's going to stop. As Beatrice had said at the beginning, eventually it's going to get better. With that mindset and that attitude and that way of living, it's going to get better.
I think you're very right, and I'll jump in to add, we have a little sweet spot though that they take advantage of, this motherly aspect. My brother and I co-manage a company, and whenever somebody needs something special, they never go to him. They always come to me. And I'm like the severe, strict one, but they know all my soft spots. Like when I'm like, why don't you ask Thierry? Why are you coming to me? And they're always like, manager, who?
But en même temps, you connais, mais en même temps, that will make them also do more. If the right people, I'm not going to say everybody, mais you connais, Madame Jacques, she got my back. Madame Jacques, moi, mon bagage, pas foutu dit non, t'es pas allé pour me faire ça, m'aider Madame Jacques vraiment, because she's there for me.
I think more so than, and also that even more than empower one another and help one another, I think that Winnie has done a lot of initiatives, including her book, that I've had the privilege to read the profiles of all these women. I think that she honors women in doing such a effort. I did Boss Lady, which is a space where women can exchange. So I want Winnie to tell us a little bit more about how she got to write about 60 profiles. Was it, Winnie?
Yeah,
60?
60 profiles. I think um,
How you did the
sometimes
research, selected 60 amazing women to tell a story.
because I think that women, we have like some very competent, smart, successful and powerful, very inspiring role model women in Haiti. But sometimes their work are not seen. And I think we need people to highlight them. And most of the time, in this book, I don't think that, I mean, maybe one or two people I knew them before, but they were not my friend. I think I asked people like, who do you think is doing something great? Because I mean, it's not about me, about my taste, what I think is good. It's about what I mean, the work that the person is doing. We have to congratulate people when they're doing something great for the community. It's not because it's my friend or my family member, but it's because this person is um, going out of her comfort zone and serving this community. I think we need to take that into consideration. And for the question, I think your answers were great. I think that's what needs to be done. But I will add something. Um, of course, we lead by example by taking leadership roles ourselves because sometimes we are afraid or we are impacted by this imposter syndrome too. But we need to mentor people when we can, sponsor people when we can. There's an opportunity that you know is there. Call this person that you know is competent for this position and say, you know what? I know that this position, I would advise you to apply. Sponsor it. And I will also say, be intentional about what you're doing. Sometimes we tend to support some companies that we don't even know, like Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, but does your friend or Asian woman is doing something great, and this person needs applause from you. You know, so, I mean, be intentional about what you do, about what you're doing, what you're buying. I read on the internet this week, like when you support a small business, you're supporting a dream. I will add that when you support a woman-owned business, you're not only supporting the dream, but you're also contributing to solve a problem, a gender discrimination that has attempted to deprive women from their power. So I will say, so I would encourage women to take it in their souls to grow in business, but I will also, as a consumer, support them because I think we women get successful businesses. And to get successful businesses, they need to get support consistently. So be intentional. I will add that.
I think that's great. I think that's wonderful, and I think that it is important for us to mentor women. I do it formally through Boss Lady and also informally. I have so many young women reach out to me all the time. I'm not saying that publicly so that more can do it, but I always answer to all of the young ladies who invite me for a talk, or young men and ladies, but especially I have a sensitive spot for the young girls. And I always, people reach out to me for advice on their event, on their program, on their project, and I'm always very happy to help or mentor other women. Like they've come to my office, they're like, Madame Jacques, 1 hour with you, oh my God. And I think that we as women need to take the time to get involved in our society and connect with younger women, share our example in formal settings or informal settings. And I mean this, because I think that it can make a big, big difference in a lot of women's lives. And I think that a lot of us don't have the role models that we need to succeed. A lot of us come from families where maybe you had a single parent, or you had a battered woman, or you had a woman all kinds of different conditions that could be affecting the young lady's own self-confidence years later. So I think it's very important for women who have made it to leadership positions to share in their environment. And it's not even a question of age when we're talking about younger women. Because me,
Yeah.
I'm inspired by a lot of women who are younger than me, like the host of this event, the creator of the
And
Deep Tech Summit movement, Daphne Scholl,
Yes.
my inspiration, my mentor. I learned so much from Daphne, and she's so much younger. So I think that we have to look at it from so many different directions so that we can help each other and create more formal networks with women so that we can exchange. And it's very important for us to get to a point where we can shoulder each other without feeling jealous. Often at times,
yes,
there's jealousy between women. I don't want Fabienne to look better
yeah,
than I am. I don't want, Winnie to be winning this and I'm number two. We have to be
yeah.
able to put our differences aside,
Okay.
and you see that less in male circles. You
Yes.
see
That's
this jealousy aspect more between women. I've definitely lived that in professional environments where they're like, what do you she thinks she's on? And, it's not the men that said that, it was the women. So we need to learn to shoulder each other and to support each other and to create those circles of empowered women who empower each other. Ladies, it's been a great, wonderful, wonderful conversation. It's 2 o'clock. I think that we're at our time. I've asked our host to let us know how we're doing, but before we can end, I'd like each of you who is open to being contacted on LinkedIn or other networks to share with the other ladies where they can connect with you. Christine, how are we doing on time? 3 minutes. So Fabienne,
Okay.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram as Fabienne Midy. So there's no, it's not
Mistake.
hard to find me. I don't have another name. It's like the name that you saw, that's the only name that I have. And I'm not as active on LinkedIn. And this is something that I have to work on. I'm not as active on LinkedIn. So, yes. So, yeah. I'll be happy to help out. And one thing that I wanted to add, Kristen, since you say we had 3 minutes, when we have someone also under us who is working with us or whatever, and we see they are ready to move up, we have to be open as mentor to let them go, to let them
We've
go a
been
step
6
further.
so
So we have
1 minute.
to.
I think that's a great way to end it. Let's push other women who are working under our leadership up the ladder and give them opportunities and push them. Where can we contact you, Winnie?
Winnie Hugot, WINNIEHUGOT, like everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm active on Instagram. So I will be happy to, if you reach out, and I will be happy to talk to you.
Béatrice?
I can be reached. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Béatrice Kébreau or Béatrice Kébreau Dupont. I can be reached even on my Sogebank account, bckebo@sogebank.com. If you guys want to talk, feel free. I'm
Women, c'est
available and
Madame
I'm
Jacques.
open.
Everybody follow Madame Jacques.
Yes.
Christine, we'll hand it right back to you. Thank you so much.
My
Thank you.
goodness. Thank you so much, ladies. It was I didn't even want to interrupt the panel. I know we're a little bit over, so I know it's a little bit of a bias, but hey, it was a wonderful panel. Merci en pile. Nous vraiment, vraiment. Félicitations. You saw the engagements. Thank you so much, ladies. It was a powerhouse out, all of you, to Haiti Tech Summit 2020. Merci en pile.
Thank you, Sogebel,
Thank
for
you.
powering this and for allowing us to
Okay.
share this moment.
Merci en pile, Christine.